Hello, my name is Javnyuy Joybert. I am a doctoral candidate in business administration with specialization in entrepreneurship and investment with Kesmonds University International America. I am a trainer, a consultant, and an entrepreneur with 10 years of experience of running my own business and consulting and training across the African continent and even Europe and America. And this video is part of my doctoral program with Kesmonds University International. And today we will be focusing on business research and decision making. Entrepreneurs and executives should intentionally invest time to carry out business research and know how to make decisions. In my experience of consulting with businesses across Africa, especially small and medium-sized businesses, when I start the consulting sessions and I start asking some questions about their business, I'll get to understand that many of them venture to open their business or venture to expand to open a new branch or even launch a new product without starting with the basic fundamentals. What do I mean? Many of them get to just assume what they know without validating with the right information or data to be sure that what they're embarking on will actually work. So many people, many business people and entrepreneurs get to execute or carry out their businesses from the place of assumptions. And note that throughout this video, many of our examples that we are going to use will focus on the African market and sometimes more specific in Cameroon. So before we continue, let us look at some basic things that we should know as business people. The first is, what is business research? Business research is a systematic process of inquiry that provides information to guide business decisions. You go through a systematic process, a formal process to gather the right information that you need to make the right business decisions. Or you can say that business research comprises of a series of steps designed and executed with the goal of finding answers to issues. Issues could be expansion, could be launching a new product, could be a marketing challenge, a sales problem, to issues concern the management of a business or the work environment. So why is it important that we should carry out business research? Now, let's look at the African market. Africa has one of the most diverse market structures in the world, having developed markets like South Africa, in Johannesburg, Casablanca in Morocco, and then some completely underdeveloped markets like Somalia, like Chad, Cameroon, and other growing economies. Now, with this diversity of many languages, logistical differences, transaction difficulty across borders. One of the most difficult continents to trade across borders is Africa. And different customs make Africa a highly diverse and difficult market to deal with. And venturing into business in Africa without proper business research may cost you a lot of money and a lot of mistakes that could have been avoided. The African market has the second largest population of the world and has more than 50 countries in one continent, and these 50 countries have different currencies and languages and custom and policies, which makes it very, very challenging. Therefore, it is imperative to be objective when carrying out business research. So what are the objectives of carrying out business research to start a business in Cameroon or across Africa? Number one is to reduce the level of risk of business decision. Number two is to find a solution to current business problems. It depends on the problem that you're going through. Number three is to analyze the interrelationships between the various variables, right? Like different currencies, different languages, different custom policies, different regulations, different ministries regulating different sectors. You need to analyze these relationships to verify and test the existing facts and theories as far as doing business is concerned in a particular industry, in a particular country, in a particular continent. Now, examples of business research, or you could carry out business research in various parts of your business. You carry out research to understand the employee behaviors of behavior of your business. You carry out to understand the employee attitude, such as job satisfaction, organizational commitment. You could carry out research to understand the supervisory performance. How are your supervisors performing? Managerial leadership style, performance appraisal systems, managerial effectiveness, strategy, quality, and policies, marketing research, which is subdivided into, you can even carry out a research on social media marketing. You see, you can carry out a research in diverse areas. You can carry out research when you want to expand to another town or to another country. You can carry out research when you want to add a new product into your lines of product. You can carry out research if you want to restructure the leadership structure of your organization or business. There are many business type research that you can carry out just to make sure that you are making the right business decision. And therefore, there are, like every good business is divided into departments. So business research can be applied into many of these departments. You can apply business research into finance, into marketing, into advertising, into business strategy, into employees, into distribution, into recruitment, whatever area that you think that there is a problem and you want to make a decision, but you are not very, very sure of the type of decision to make, you can apply business research in that area. And business research application can lead to management decisions or new product development, or not to develop the product. It can lead to employee development, that's employee training, because you may carry out a research and you discover that your employees have less skills or are not skillful enough to get the job done, and you may need to upskill them. You can call that employee development, or business process re-engineering. You try to improve your processes and business diversification as far as expansion is concerned. So what are the characteristics of a good business research? Number one, a good business research should begin with a problem, which can be in the form of a question in the mind of the business researcher. For example, let's say that you discover that marketing is not good. So the question could be, why are we investing millions into the marketing budget, but we are not making sales as expected? That is a question you can use to start your business research. Number two, business research requires a plan. Always have a plan for your research. Number three, business research deals with facts and their meaning. It's all about data, numbers, what people are saying, and you analyze to be sure with that. And what are the benefits of business research to every business? Number one, business research will help you as a business person to run a sustainable company or a sustainable business in the long run, because with research you can be able to anticipate your market, anticipate your industry and the possible changes. Business research also enables management to take effective decisions through carefully analyzing the research output for the long-term benefit. Research also helps an organization or a business to keep abreast of market trends and innovation. Why should you carry out research? Again, it's important for you to set achievable targets for business growth, sales, and latest product development. Business research also helps you as a business person to understand, this is very important, to understand the needs of existing customers and why they choose your service over competitors. Yes, sometimes you can just carry out research with your customers just to know, but why do you buy from me more? So that they will tell you your strength and you can even amplify those strengths. You see, another reason to carry out business research is to discover potential customers, new customers, and their needs, and which can be incorporated into your already existing services. So when should a business use market research or business research? To see whether a new business idea is viable. Yes, talking about when, because sometimes you cannot just sit and you assume, oh, we should do business research. That is not it. Because of course, business research comes with a lot of money and time, right? So you cannot just assume and do business research. You need to know when you have to do business research. So you can do business research to see whether a new business idea is viable, or when you have an idea to implement. Is there a market for it? You don't just guesswork and you use a business research anyhow. You need to be intentional at making sure that it works. Number two, you also carry out business research when you are moving into a new market, into a new environment, into a new city, into a new country. This is especially true when you're selling abroad. Different countries have different cultures, therefore have different types of customers. What works in one country might not work in another country. What works in Cameroon might not work in Nigeria, might not work in Tanzania, might not work in Zambia, in South Africa. And so research will help you uncover the differences in these locations and adapt to them. When do you need to do research? When you want to launch a new product or service. Because you might assume that you have a perfect product or service and your customers may think different. So it's only through research that you will ascertain if your customers are thinking in the same direction with you regarding the launch of this new product. It pays to get feedback from your customers or from your target market before you launch that particular product, so you can make necessary changes where possible. That's why research is important. It avoids you, or it helps you not to waste money, time, and human resources in developing a product that nobody will buy. So invest in doing that. When do you need research? When applying for investment too. Absolutely. For entrepreneurs who are looking for angel investors, debt, equity, whatever kind of investment you are looking for, it is important to carry out thorough research about the business environment you're operating in, the industry, your customers, the market acceptability of your product, and any other important research that you may anticipate the kind of questions that your potential investors may have for you, because you need to prove to investors that your business is filling a gap in the market and there is a market for this, your idea that you are looking for money. So, how can research be done? The business can do research or hire a professional firm to carry out the research. So there are two ways that you can actually do the research. The first step is you can decide if you have the human resources and your team or your staff have the skills to carry out proper research. You can use them to do the research, or you can hire a professional research firm and outsource that part of your research to them to do the research, analyze it, and bring you the information, and you can use the information they bring to you and start making informed business decisions, or what we call intelligent business decisions. That's how you can do research. And of course, you cannot talk about research without mentioning that when you want to do research, let's say you want to implement the research with your staff, one of the most important things to know when going out for research are the various data collection methods in doing business research, because there is no research really if you don't have a clear process or a clear methodology or a clear plan on how you are going to collect data. So let's assume that you want to do business research and you're going to use your team to do business research. So what are the various methods that you can use to carry out research, or to collect data for your research? Number one is interview. You can begin to interview customers that come into your shop and ask them a few questions. You can go to your customer database and pick up their phone numbers and begin to call them, or send them an email interview, or you can do computer assisted interviews. Number two, you can distribute questionnaires, printed questionnaires to your clients or to the target market, or you can do online questionnaires, the survey forms, Google forms, and have them filled. You can do depth interview. What is depth interview? You sit down with them for a while and you just ask deep questions about what you're trying to find out as far as your research is concerned. You can do focus groups. Focus groups could be, you can segment your customers in the group, invite them over for coffee, for tea, or for some food, and while you guys are taking some tea, you are asking them questions in groups. So you can segment your customers. Let's say your product targets teachers, secondary school teachers. Your product also target university lecturers, and you can decide and segment. Okay, I'm going to bring in 10 secondary school teachers as a focus group, sit them down for 2 hours, give them coffee, give them juice, and we just talk about my business or my products, and I get their perspective and how they would like the product or the service to serve them. Another way could be documents and records. You can go into think tanks, already existing journals that have done research in the past. You can go to universities, to their research department. You can go to the National Institute of Statistics and get documents and records that you can use to make decisions. Oral history, you can just talk to people and they ask them questions about what used to happen in the past, and maybe when you were not yet born, or maybe when you were not yet into business, and just get all the necessary information. You can also do observation, just go stand and observe people and collect that data. So these are some of the most popular ways that you can use to carry out the kind of data or have access to data as far as business is concerned. And it is important to note that qualitative and quantitative research, business research in Africa is growing every single day. Traditional methods are typically used in Africa, such as face-to-face data collection, in-person focus groups, and telephone interviews. These are the most popular qualitative or quantitative market research methods that people are using in Africa as far as business research is concerned. And also it's important to note that conducting research in Africa requires a thorough understanding of the local market. As we said earlier, the African marketplace is so broken down into communities, villages, towns, and so on. So it's important to understand the local market. And in some cases, research professionals may need to go from village to village, town to town, city to city, quarter to quarter to build a good research sample that they can use to carry out the research, which will be very effective. And we cannot talk about business research like this, its importance, its benefits, when you should do business research, without talking about business decision making. Because for what prompts a business, what prompts an executive to push for business research? That only happens when they want to make an important decision and they don't have the required information or intelligence to make that decision. Therefore, the next part of this video is to focus on decision making, because the aftermath of a good research is to make informed business decisions that will lead to the success of the business. And what is business decision making? Well, decision making is an essential aspect of business success. You cannot say that you are a business executive, you are an entrepreneur, you are a business professional, and you don't master the art of making decisions. Decisions made by business people aim to enable the achievement of business objectives in a manner that is satisfying the business needs and the expectations of the business leaders, of the shareholders, of the customers, and any key stakeholder that makes up that business. So, business decisions play important roles as they determine both organizational and managerial activities. A business decision can therefore be defined as a course of action purposely chosen from a set of alternatives, right? You always have a set of alternatives to achieve organizational or managerial objectives or goals. So decision-making process is continuous. It's not a one-time thing. As long as you are in business, you will always be making decisions. That's why we have operational decisions, strategic decisions, and daily decisions, many types of decisions that we'll talk about briefly. And decision making, of course, is an indispensable component of being a manager, being an executive, or being a leader in any organization or in any business activity. What are the 4 types of decision making styles? There are various styles of decision making. Let's talk about the 4 types. Number 1, we can talk about the analytical decision making style. If I say that you are a business leader who practice the analytical business style, what I'm saying is that you are that kind of a business leader that is committed to finding the best answer. You are so analytical in getting the best answers. You enjoy solving problems. That's what I mean, that you are an analytical business decision maker. You are comfortable with large amounts of information and data. You love to dig deep through information so you make the right decisions. You are innovative in how you look at things. You thrive on control. You love to receive directions and control from your boss, and you have no problem taking a lot of time needed to find the best decision as far as the business is concerned, and you enjoy variety and new challenges. So these are the traits that makes up a leader who practices analytical decision making style. Another style is directive decision making style. This person is driven by results. They are making decisions all result. What are we going to achieve? And this person relies primarily on roles and processes. They love to know, how do we get things done? What are the roles and processes involved as far as this is concerned? They are aggressive in nature, not like anger per se, but they are aggressive in how they get things done. They are go-getters. They are driven. They love to just make sure that things are done on time and speedily. And they prefer to make decisions alone. Yes, anybody who practices directive decision-making style love to make decisions alone. They are like one-man army mentality. They prefer intuitive nature. They are very intuitive in nature. Sometimes they may not like the analytical people. They may try to use just their intuition to make decisions. They typically react quickly and do not like to dwell on just the decision. They like to get results. They are very strong as far as verbal communication is concerned. They can talk in meetings and talk until they get what they want. Remember, they are driven by results and they are aggressive in nature. And of course, anybody who practices directive decision-making styles informs people once the decision is made. These are people that sometimes can sit in their office and use whatever data or information they have, and they make a final decision and they just communicate to everybody. And people who practice analytical decision-making styles and directive decision-making styles, they are more technical, they are more task-oriented, they are more structured. Now, the last two are conceptual decision-making style. If I say that I make decisions using the conceptual decision-making style, what I'm saying is I am achievement-oriented, I am creative, I am comfortable with what-ifs, with conditions. So you are not just static in how you look at things. You like to ask the what-if questions. What if we do like this? What if we do it at this time? What if we call this person? What if we approach it from this direction? You always look at more ways that you can find, you can get things done. They are generally open-minded with a broad outlook. Yes, people who have the conceptual decision-making style are very, very open-minded, which is very good in business. They are humanitarian driven or conscious of how decision will affect others. Absolutely. They are very, very conscious of how their decisions will affect other people. It could be staff, customers, shareholders, partners, whoever that will be affected in that decision-making process. They are very, very conscious. They think in the future. Yes. Anybody who practices conceptual decision-making style think in the future. They enjoy coming up with new ideas too. Good. The last part of decision-making style is behavioral decision-making style. Anybody who practices this style is generally supportive, a very good team player, people-driven kind of person. The second is that they are empathetic in nature. Like they can put themselves in others' shoes to understand what other people feel and think about the situation. They look to others for advice. Yes, they don't make decisions on their own. They look for others for advice. They get to buy in from stakeholders before making a decision. Yes, they don't just sit and they make a decision, they may call key stakeholders to get their perspective before they make their final decision. And of course, they are persuasive in nature, yes, because they like to get the perspective of other people. And of course, they are very good communicators. You cannot practice behavioral decision-making style when you don't know how to influence people or communicate with people. And of course, they rely on implied data, like reading what people say or looking at people's facial expression, and they make that decision. All right, so these are the 4 decision-making styles that every business leader should know, and try to understand, where do I fit, how do I make decisions, and where do I need to improve. But a good decision-making matrix should be hybrid, should be able to combine analytical, conceptual, directive, and behavioral. And you need consistent practice and training to be able to embody all of these 4 decision-making styles. When you master these 4, you always make very good decisions as a business executive. So what are the different levels of decision-making? Primarily, there are 5 levels of decision-making that every business person or every executive has access to. Level 1 is the leader alone decides. This is when the leader is in the best position because of clarity of knowledge to make that decision. So level 1 that you have as a business leader to make decision is when you can make that decision alone. You decide alone and make the decision. And in business, you will have many circumstances where you will practice level 1 decision making, where you make decision alone. And sometimes there will be bold decisions, hard decisions. Level 2, the leader makes the decision with input from key individuals. Now, what do I mean? Input from others may assist to provide information to cover blind spots. And when I say key individuals, these could be like your assistant. Let's say you want to make a decision as a chief executive officer. You may decide to consult your chief financial officer, the CFO. You may decide to consult your chief marketing officer, the CMO. You may decide to consult your chief operations officer, the COO. These may be key stakeholders. You may decide to contact your board president or your majority shareholder. You just contact these key people and you make the decision. That is level 2. Level 3, the leader builds consensus with input from subgroup, but the leader has the final say. Yes, as a leader, you build a consensus with input from subgroups, but you have the final say. For example, you can gather all the departmental heads from your business and they form the subgroup, and then you guys deliberate, and you sit down and you make the final decision. Number 4, level 4 is the whole group vote on a decision, or the decision is delegated to someone else. Yes, you bring in all the staff, you guys deliberate, and you vote on the final decision. And level 5 is a true consensus. The leader fully delegates decision to a group and become one of many. The group discusses, discerns, and decides on behalf of the organization. So these are the 5 levels of decision making that you as a business leader or as an executive, you may have to go through in one way or the other. And it's good to be very conscious. Which types of decisions will you practice? Level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, and level 5. 3 types of decisions that leaders may get to make in business. And before we talk about the 3 types of decisions, let's look at some few important points. A good decision maker helps a business succeed and boost profits. That is why every successful entrepreneur, a business executive, knows how to make decisions. A poor decision maker, on the other hand, could jeopardize not only business growth, but also the sustainability of the institutions. Bad decisions have killed companies. It's very important to note that. Businesses make complex decisions all the time. Managers decide whether to hire or fire a staff. That is a decision. Sales managers determine the most lucrative sales strategies or sales leads. That is a business decision. IT administrators or IT engineers choose the best software for the company. that is a business decision. So there are many complex decisions that business leaders get to make. And technology often helps decision makers in a company. Decision-making softwares provide professionals with analytics so they can solve problems in a quicker time frame. It's very rampant right now. A lot of talk about digital transformation in business, and a lot of it is being used to analyze data so businesses can make the right decisions. So, three types of decisions include: number one, technical decisions. In every business, there is a need to make decisions about the core activities. These are basic activities relating directly to the work of the business. Like, for example, in a technology company, software engineers make a lot of technical decisions. Any decision that needs technical knowledge, that's a technical decision. Number two is managerial decisions. Decisions related to the coordination of the core business activities. Like, this is where a manager is making decisions to coordinate all the activities from sales to marketing to distribution to finance to human resource. All of this moving part of the business, the manager makes decisions to coordinate them. Number three is institutional decisions. These decisions concern such diverse issues as diversification of activities, large-scale capital expansion, acquisition and mergers, shift in research and development activities, and various other organizational choices. In other words, this is a decision that one department cannot make, an individual cannot make, two people cannot make, but the whole leadership of the institution will need to sit down and make the decision. For example, let's say that a business wants to buy another business. The board of directors will sit maybe with the management team and maybe external consultants, and they deliberate and they make the decision whether to acquire another business or not, or whether to merge with another company or not, whether to venture into new research and development for new products or not. You can call this institutional decision making. The relationship